Hey, what's up, everybody? Brett Mix here, Macho Wrestling 101, Macho Madness. Hit like and subscribe if you like videos of wrestling, of classic wrestling. I do the history of wrestling every day. I also stay up to date with Raw, SmackDown, Crown Jewel, whatever pay-per-view comes up. I do that too, so if you hit subscribe, it would be a benefit to you and me. So thank you if you took the time to do that. Today we're doing Summerslam 2001. This happened during the Invasion period where Paul Heyman was a commentator, and with the Alliance, ECW, WCW versus WWF, took place on August 19th, 2001 from San Jose, California. As I said, Jim Ross and Paul Heyman do the commentary. Then we open up with the Intercontinental title match between Edge and Lance Storm. Lance Storm, the champion, talking about being serious, and then Edge interrupted that, and they have a pretty good match together. I rated 3.5 stars. Christian was involved, and people were waiting for Christian to turn on Edge ever since Edge won the King of the Ring. But Christian was just by his side, and he would later turn on Edge in a Raw in Toronto on the build to Unforgiven, where they would have matches at Unforgiven and No Mercy. But the turn hadn't happened quite yet. This is one of Christian's last events where he was a face to try and help Edge. But what happened was Christian came to ringside. Storm hit a super kick on him. The ref got back to it with Storm recovering from the spear by Christian, or the kick from Christian there. Each guy ended up countering the other move. Lance Storm tried to hit a Boston Crab. Edge tried to hit a spear. They both countered it, but it was an execution that Storm couldn't counter at DDT for the pinfall victory at 11:16. So Edge became the new Intercontinental Champion. I rate this match 3.5 stars. It had intrigue. It had pretty good chemistry and good high spots. Definitely a good fast-paced opener for SummerSlam. So 3.5 stars for that opener. After that, we have APA and Spike Dudley with Molly Holly versus the Dudleys and Test in a 6-man tag. This is action-packed tag team match. 6-man tags always are, because there's no slow spots where you're waiting for the face to get the hot tag after the heels beat them down. This is a lot of good action with a lot of good bumping. It only went 7:19, but it had a jam-packed climax. Dudley tried to grab Bubba and do the Dudley Dog, but Test ended up grabbing him in the middle of that and throw him through a table on the outside. Just as Test did that, he turns around and Bradshaw hits a clothesline from hell. And just as Bradshaw does that, Shane McMahon comes in diving with a chair shot to the head of Bradshaw. And then what happened was Test covered Bradshaw right after that at 7:19 for the victory. So the heels win. So the Alliance and WWF are tied with 1 win each after the first 2 matches. I rate this 2 stars and 3/4. So the first was 3.5 stars. This one's 2 stars and 3/4. Looks like SummerSlam's off to a good start. But that was just such a jam-packed climax there, to have the Dudley Dog through the table, the clothesline from hell, and the chair shot from Shane to Bradshaw, all in the span of 5 seconds. All 3 big spots happened in about 5 seconds to end that match. A bunch of backstage segments go on with the Alliance, with the WWF, such as Sean Stasiak running into a gate. As The Rock was talking about how good the match would be against Booker T, or how good he was going to do, rather. Light heavyweight champion versus cruiserweight champion here, as Tajiri took on X-Pac. X-Pac was in the midst, the peak of the X-Pac heat, because he was in the X Factor, and that stable wasn't very good. Albert was a part of that stable, and he tried to make his way down the ring to distract Tajiri. But Tajiri spit the red mist in Albert's face. The ref was distracted. X-Pac hit a low blow on Tajiri, and then the X Factor for the victory at 7:33. So the Cruiserweight Champion and Light Heavyweight Champion is X-Pac now. I rate this match 3 stars. It had great action in it, despite X-Pac heat. Tajiri knows how to work a good match, so does X-Pac. And together the chemistry came alive. So 3 stars. This SummerSlam is getting off to a good start. A lot of matches on average about in the 3-star area. If you were to combine the first 3 matches star rating average, it'd be 3 stars. Next up, we got Jericho versus Rhino. Another great match here. This match impressed me. Rhino dissected the ribs of Jericho, his core. Obviously, that would hit with the gore. I'm not trying to rhyme, but I'm just saying some more. Okay. That was an accident, I swear. But honestly, he did look for his core, and now I gotta say a word that doesn't rhyme with core, so I don't rhyme. I do it by accident at times. And Jericho and Rhino, back to the match. Rhino targeted Jericho's ribs, and Jericho went back on Rhino and tried to work on his core as well with a missile drop kick. Tried to put strain on his lower back with the walls of Jericho, but Rhino was able to get out. Stephanie McMahon was obviously at ringside going for Rhino. She was a big part of this match, as she was the build. She was on the apron distracting the referee. Jericho went over to Stephanie and kissed her on the lips, which drew a huge pop. Jericho hit a bulldog on Rhino, the lion salt, but Rhino came back with a spine buster, hurting his core again. Rhino slapped on his version of the walls. Jericho got his hand on the bottom rope to get out. An enziguri kick by Jericho. Rhino hit a side belly-to-belly suplex and then went for a gore, but Jericho moved. Rhino hit the turnbuckle that was exposed, and Jericho slapped on the walls of Jericho for the submission at 12:34, giving him the victory over Rhino. I rate this match 3 stars and 3/4. So far we got this whole pay-per-view, the average rating at 3 stars, and now this star is 3 stars and 3/4. So very, very good pay-per-view here at match quality-wise. Next up, we got Jeff Hardy and RVD, a hardcore ladder match. Another good match here. There was a spot where RVD couldn't hit Jeff with a flying super kick, spin kick, while Jeff Hardy was hanging on to the belts, but that didn't hurt the match. They did tons of offensive, innovative moves with the ladder, as you might expect Jeff and RVD to do. It didn't disappoint. I rate this match 4 stars. RVD won the Hardcore Championship. I really thought some of the spots were incredible. The crowd were into it. Everyone knew this was going to be a banger, and it was. So, great stuff. Next up, we have a disappointing match, a cage match for the tag titles between DDP and Kanyon versus The Undertaker and Kane. This is just to but it was initially a solve. Who was stalking Undertaker's wife. That was a detective to solve, but this was to end the feud between DDP and Taker. This is also a way to get Kane on the pay-per-view. That's the second straight SummerSlam where they didn't know what to do with Kane, and they just said, okay, we'll slap him with The Undertaker. But DDP and Kanyon, they had their entrances fucked up with. They come to the ring. I don't know if it's still that way on the network or on SummerSlam Anthology, whatever you view it on, but I remember the live edition, Kanyon walked out to no music, and he's nervous, and he's looking at DDP, and DDP just shrugs him and goes, come on, man, let's just go to the ring. And then you hear, yo, it's me, it's DDP, after they're like halfway down the aisle, and then their music starts. So people think that they did that to fuck with them, like Vince McMahon on purpose. I don't know, it's just a rumor. But Undertaker and Kane squashed them at 10:15, and they became the new WWE and WCW Tag Team Champions. So they go on to hold the belts. I give that match a 1.5 stars, and I think that's being generous. Next up, Angle and Austin for the WWF title. One of the best SummerSlam matches, one of the best Austin Angle matches, one of the best. And I don't mean Austin with Angle. It is that. But I mean one of their best matches ever in their individual careers. This is the best Austin Angle match. There's a few other great ones. Unforgiven 01, Raw from January 01, Raw from, I believe, February 01, and then there's also one in October 01 where Austin won the title that was about 3.5 stars. But the other matches were about 4 stars. Unforgiven was about 4 stars. And this match here, 4 stars, 3/4. As close to 5 stars as I can get. This is in my top 50 matches ever. It might even make my top 25. I'd have to look at my list. But it's definitely in the top 50. Austin did everything. The psychology was just top notch. The German suplexes to put pressure on Austin's neck by the Olympian Kurt Angle. He didn't let go. He did countless number of suplexes. He did 6 in a row in one sequence. Austin and Angle's just bloodied in war. Austin just doing everything he can, resorting back to every trick he did as the ringmaster with the Cobra Clutch. He would just and he tried to get disqualified just to get out of there with Angle, and he did survive with his WWF title as the dirty referee Nick Patrick came to the ring and disqualified him. I loved how this match had false finishes, but it didn't do it in an overbooking sense. This match just had an ending. Today, you would have seen the overbooking at the end of this. It would have been so many other false finishes, everybody kicking out of everybody's moves. Angle kicked out of the stunner, sure, but this is a different way to book the match. They didn't overbook it. They just let it naturally flow through. And, yeah. So, I give this match 4 stars and 3/4. Angle wins by DQ and doesn't win the title. I can think this is the reason they didn't have that headline the show, was because they didn't want a disqualification finish to end the show. And considering the next match, the babyface wins, so they want everybody to leave on a good note. That's my opinion anyway. I'm not sure. I just don't think they'd ever have the WCW title over the WWF title in the main event. But they did. So anyways, that Austin Angle match is one of the best ever. It's online. You can find it even if you don't have the network. It's great. Anyways, now The Rock takes on Booker T for his WCW title. Shane McMahon obviously was out there with Booker T, as they were sort of a duo at the time, much like Shane was in Benoit's corner in the 2000s. Now he's in Booker T's corner. They're one of the lead dogs in the alliance, of course. And Shane McMahon was trying to do everything to get the title off The Rock. They even had a handicap match at Unforgiven the next month. Booker T was strong coming into the WWE as the 5-time WCW champion, but The Rock, when he came back to the WWF on that July 30th, 2001 Raw, I remember the date because that was like my 15th birthday, but he came back on that Raw from Philadelphia there on July 30th, and he was just amazing. The ratings just... because the ratings were going down at that time in the company as the Attitude Era was ending, but then when The Rock came back, it went like that. And so my point is Booker T was great, but The Rock was just in another level. He was just at another level at the time, so you knew The Rock was going to win this match. It was still a great match, though. They went out there and put on a good one. Obviously, it took two Rock bottoms. Let's see my notes. But it definitely took one Rock bottom. He won at 15-19, and there was a huge pop. I rate this match 3.5 stars. Great match together. Maybe their best match together. And there's a big theme on this night. Rating everything around 3 stars, 4 stars. This SummerSlam gets an 8.5 out of 10. It's one of the greatest SummerSlams I've yet to review. Just because of the match quality, it was just top notch in every single match, so to speak. Not every single match, but most matches. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10 seems right for SummerSlam 2001. I can't wait for the next one, SummerSlam 02. That is one of the best pay-per-views of all time, so stay tuned for that. I'm Brett Mix, and for the SummerSlam reviews, thank you for watching. I'm out.